Hey guys, JKMan99. I'm going to do a Buffalo Bills season review for the 2014 season. Lots of stuff going on. This is the day after, so history will show you what's going on today. I'm going to try to go through everything as much as I can, and at the same time trying to keep this short, so let's do it. First, let's talk about just the season. 9-7. Way back in May, I said we gave up our first round draft pick. Every year we've given up our first round draft pick. We do good. So it turns out that seems to be what happened this year. Not saying that's the primary reason. There's obviously a lot of factors, but I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, we had no reason to lose this year, so we played well. And I'm listening to the radio right now, actually, and I can't believe how many Bills fans are calling in mad about this season. And it's just like, guys, 9-7 is better than 6-10. I mean, do the math. You know, I mean, it's a better season regardless of how you want to spin it, no matter how much you want to be like, oh my God, if we only beat the Raiders, blah, blah, blah. Actually, that doesn't matter because Baltimore had the tiebreaker. Any way you look at it, we had an overall good season. Now, as I talk about next season, that's when I'm going to break down what went wrong this season. But right now, I want to talk about mainly the positives and negatives and just do a few shout-outs for the season. I mean, like when I predicted the season at the very beginning of the year, I said 6-10. I did not expect us to beat Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay, the Patriots, and I didn't expect us to sweep the Jets, but I didn't know how bad they were going to be. So overall, that's kind of where it was. The only two teams I did expect us to beat that we didn't beat were the Chiefs and, of course, the Raiders. But I think everyone's in that zone. I will just say flat out, we haven't won the black hole since the 60s. So, and I was even saying that leading up to it. I mean, I thought this would really have been the year to do it. But it's not an easy place to play. So, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's not as surprising. I just can't believe how bad we did that one game. I'm with you all on that. We went 4-2 in our division. We swept the Jets. We beat the Dolphins. We beat the Patriots. We beat everyone once. Okay, I'm going to go through just best moment, worst moment, etc. All right. Best moment of the year a couple weeks ago, beating Green Bay. Green Bay came in, I believe they were, 11-3 at the time. Beating them was a statement game, even though Green Bay never won in Buffalo before. It was a statement game if we won that game, which we did. So for me, it was just an amazing victory. It really, 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 really was. There was a few moments in there, but for me, I was standing up, and I know they're not even a rival, but it was just like, if we win this game, like, this season was a success, like regardless of what happens, and that's the way I look at it. Just that moment. I mean, that game, the last big game we had like that was the Patriots game in 2011. I mean, I think the Green Bay game even overshadowed us beating the Patriots this year, just because it was Week 17 and they'd benched half their players out. But yeah, but despite that, I would still throw in beating the Patriots as a close second there. In terms of best moments. And guys, comment, I want to know what your best moments, worst moments were. I'm sure everybody else has them, so leave it. Worst moment of the year, there were a couple. I would say, I'm going to name the two, and I'll tell you which mine was. I'll start with the second worst. The J.J. Watt interception, the pick six. If that doesn't happen, we win the Houston game. So it's one play you wish you had back. That was definitely a rough moment, though I really do think that Fitzpatrick would have won the game regardless. That was his revenge game, but statistically speaking, we probably should have won the game if the J.J. Watt does not make the interception. But the worst moment of the year, I would say, would be the Bryce Brown fumble during the Kansas City game. I mean, if he does not fumble that ball, I'm pretty sure we win. That was the moment where everything fell apart, and I just thought of this as I was talking to you. I would say the third worst moment was just that Charles Woodson interception in the Raiders game. Because if he doesn't, we were on a roll until he intercepted that ball, and then we played scared again, and which we'll talk about. And then we lost. So, I mean, like, that was another frustrating moment. Just playing it safe after we lost the game there. Biggest surprise, Kyle Orton. Simply put, he when they switched him and EJ was only 2-2, I thought it was a horrible mistake. I'm like, let's figure out EJ now. Let's not wait till next year. Again, we'll talk about it. And he, I can't say he almost took us to the playoffs, but he first player since Bledsoe who took us to a winning record. He threw over 3,000 yards, and he didn't play the first 4 games. I mean, yes, he looked bad at times, but overall, the guy did good. And that's going against something that I initially said, which I'll do a lot. So, for me, the biggest surprise of the season was Kyle Orton and what he did bring to the Bills team. Let's see, the best players. Oh my God, the D-line. The D-line was amazing. Like, you can't say anything about them. Most dominated force I've seen in a long time, and on defense anywhere. So, we made Brady, Rodgers, and Manning look bad, and that's amazing that we were able to say that we can do that. Worst players, though. Oh my goodness. Offensive line looked bad. You can't really single any particular player out. If I had to really go roster deep, I would say the worst player on the team is Kouandjio. I mean, I know he didn't play down, but second-round pick, you didn't see the field once, and you were too scared to put him in. I think that's saying something there. And another one, Keith Rivers. I mean, he was brought in to be a starter, and I mean, I'm glad Preston Brown did good, but Keith Rivers really didn't do much either. So those would be my best and worst players. Again, leave your own list. I'm sure there's somebody on both sides of the ball I'm clearly forgetting here. All right, so that's really my view on the season. Let me talk about the here and now. Today, I got a few hours ago, I got a text that said that Kyle Orton is retiring. Not surprising, but extremely disappointing. Every scenario I've come up with for next year was about EJ Manuel and Kyle Orton competing for the starting job, which I don't want anyway. And I think that Marrone choosing to put in Orton and not even think about starting EJ with his whole statement that I want to win tells you that his faith in EJ just isn't there. And I think that's not a bad way to look at it. I'll say it probably at some point here. But now, since Kyle's gone, it's like, well, now you got to look at EJ again. Or do you? I mean, but just having that option, being able to even foresee the training camp with Orton and all that stuff is over. It's done. So I don't know what's going to happen now. Now, obviously, Marrone, this is something, now we have a couple more days to see if this happens. I do not think it'll happen, but Marrone was born in the Bronx. Jets' job's wide open right now. He has 2 more days to walk. I mean, obviously, when he got the Bills job, the Jets job wasn't available. Just a possibility. I don't see it happening, but he could be gone in the next couple days. We'll find out. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume he's not gone. Yeah, so let me just say this real quick. I've kind of seen enough of EJ, honestly. I know it sounds completely unfair with 14 games. I know he's pretty much been a 50-50 player, and I've seen some good, I've seen some bad, but there's just an it factor, you know? And I don't see it with EJ, unfortunately. Maybe he'll come out next season and do good. I would love it if he did. I mean, please do it. I mean, prove me wrong, EJ Manuel. Prove me wrong. However, I don't think EJ Manuel will prove me wrong. I think we're just going to waste more time and see what happens. But this is kind of what I'm getting at here for next season. We'll break off into the next season portion of this video. We don't have to. We sort of do, but let me try to explain that a little bit. The Bills have made a few decent moves, like just for example, we lost Pettine last year and we signed Schwartz. I mean, that was a perfect replacement. And we can do that again, you know? Like, we lost Orton. Let's get another veteran. Let's figure it out way before training camp. Get him on the team. The only problem is I'm not sure where we go. This is something I was talking about before the end of the season, that besides Orton, there's really no one else out there. I mean, maybe Sam Bradford leaves. Maybe Cutler. I don't want Cutler because I hate Jay Cutler. I'm saying that right now. But you never know. I know. You know what? No, I don't want him. Simply put, I don't want Jay Cutler. Other than that, I mean, I know I'm going to sound crazy for saying this, but in terms of free agents availability, he'll most likely retire too. But Matt Hasselbeck. I mean, in terms of stability, in terms of a stable quarterback who can run this offense as our defense is awesome, I can't think of anybody else better than Matt Hasselbeck who is available after this season. I don't think it'll happen. I doubt it'll happen, especially because I think he'll be 39, 40 years old perhaps. But, I mean, in terms of like a year, while we have this defense, we need to find a stable quarterback. And unfortunately, the only one we had is kind of out right now. I want them to fire Hackett. I mean, I think the biggest problem this year in terms of the offense, because the offense still looked just as pathetic as they did in the preseason a lot of the times. And it didn't really matter what personnel was in. It still looked bad. I don't like Marrone, but I'll say this real quick. A lot of those 4th and 1s, and I'm going against everybody right now, I was actually okay with, only because of how strong the defense was. Let's pin them deep. We'll keep them back there. If we have any other defense in the world, it's horrible plan. But only because of the defense we had, I think it was okay. However, saying that about the 4th and 1s, I still think we played way too conservative. But I mean, I would love it if Hackett left, but because he's buddy with Marrone, I don't see it happening at all. But that would be something I really wish they'd fix. I really want them to do it. I just don't think it's going to happen. In terms of the defense, I really want them to sign Hughes. I know he could easily leave, but I really want to keep that line together. I know they could do fine probably without him, but you know what? I want them all on the line, honestly. And if we're going to sacrifice a player, Brandon Spikes, he was only on a 1-year deal. I actually like Brandon Spikes. I never thought I'd really like him that much, but I really like the guy. I love hearing his interviews, and I like what he brings to the team. I like him as a team player. However, I just think that with Kiko coming back and Preston Brown doing good, I don't know where the room is for Brandon anymore, but I appreciate your year and making the team better. So, in conclusion, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't know what next season's really going to bring. I don't think it's going to be as good as this year, mainly because we still don't have the quarterback situation figured out, and Orton quitting today makes it so much worse than it was literally 24 hours ago. So with that, I hope the Bills will do better the next season and make the playoffs, obviously, but unless we fix that quarterback situation and draft guards in the draft and fix that line, I mean, and keep Hughes and keep that defense secure, I don't know how we're going to pull it off. I mean, that's what we need to do. I think we can do it. It's just they need to do it. Maybe get a little creative, trade for a quarterback. I know it's really bizarre to do that, but you never know. We might figure it out. All right, Bills fans, comment on this. I want to hear other opinions out there. All right, guys, and Happy New Year. It's almost the New Year, and take care.